Some pacts don't come with chains or cages. They offer you exactly what you want. And yet, they turn you into a prisoner. That's what happened to Lucas, an ordinary man, smart, ambitious, but tired of feeling insignificant in a world where real power always seemed to be in the wrong hands. So he made a request. Simple, direct, arrogant. I want absolute power over everything, over everyone. And he got it. But no one warned him that this everything also included his own thoughts. Now, every image that crosses his mind, every dark impulse, every bottled up rage, every twisted fantasy, becomes real. The world around him starts to warp. Not because of monsters or demons, but because of the things he can't control in here. Points to his own head. Imagine no longer being able to tell the difference between what you thought and what you created. Imagine if your mind was the cell and the jailer. It's you. This is the curse no one sees. Tell where the only real monster is your own conscience. Now, let me ask you, would you still want absolute control? It meant losing control of yourself. If this idea gave you chills, drop a like and subscribe right now. This story is just beginning, and if you think you've seen it all, just wait until the most innocent thought decides to become a curse. Lucas had always been obsessed with control. He hated surprises. He didn't trust chance. He believed everything in the world could be shaped. Only he had enough power. He didn't want to control just the environment around him. He wanted to master the invisible time, feelings, people's thoughts. He wanted to be more than human. He wanted to be the force that sets the rules, not the one who obeys them. For years, this obsession grew in silence, like a poisonous root, until the day someone or something appeared. It didn't demand blood sacrifices. No candles, no strange symbols, just one question. What do you desire? And without hesitation, with a steady voice and a sold-out soul, I want absolute power over everything. The silence that followed was the loudest answer he had ever heard. The pact was sealed, but he had no idea what it really meant. The air grew heavier as the entity appeared before Lucas, a presence that didn't need words to frighten, but it smiled, a cold smile, full of dark promises and dangerous secrets. Granted, said, its voice seeming to echo inside Lucas's mind. But beware. Even your most fleeting thoughts will have consequences. It was a veiled warning, a shadow hidden in an offer that seemed so perfect. Consumed by his thirst for power, Lucas didn't grasp the weight of that phrase. Not then. He only heard what he wanted, that the power was his, but the true price would only reveal itself when his mind became a battlefield where every dark idea, every fleeting impulse took on a life of its own. And at that moment, the silent curse began. At first, everything felt like a dream he could control with just a thought. Lucas barely had to act. All he needed was to wish. He thought of someone calling him, and the phone actually rang. He imagined money dropping into his account, and the numbers changed right before his eyes. It was magic. He believed he finally had it all. Absolute power in the palm of his hand. But perfection came with a hidden price. 'Cause what he didn't know was that this power made no distinction between his good desires and his dark ones. And then, for the first time, a shadow appeared in his mind. A horrible thought, almost accidental. Something he would never admit, not even to himself. And when he thought it, something in the air shifted. Darkness took shape. The power began to turn into a curse. The power seemed unshakable until the moment Lucas let anger take control of his mind. It wasn't a deliberate, conscious wish. It was a dark thought, almost a whisper among the thousands swirling in his head. What if everyone just disappeared? The phrase echoed inside him like a silent thunder in the next second. reality shifted. The street that once buzzed with life was empty. A deadly silence filled the air. No cars passed by. No human sounds echoed. What was once normal became a desert of shadows. Lucas realized with horror that thought was not just a thought, it was an order, a sentence, and he had just crossed the point of no return. Lucas tried with all his might to hold the reins of his mind. But thoughts don't obey orders. They arise, sometimes without warning, sometimes so intense they seem to scream inside his head. And that's when the real terror began. Nightmares he once kept locked away in the dark now escaped, invading his reality. Distorted creatures appeared in the shadows of his room, twisted faces and silent screams, macabre scenes where the impossible became real. His perception shattered. The line between what was real and what was, born from his mind, blurred, leaving him lost in a maze of fear, confusion, and despair. The enemy wasn't outside. It was himself, his own brain, against him. What once seemed like a gift soon revealed itself to be a sentence. Every dark thought, every fear, every insecurity, they all took shape before his eyes. For seconds, for minutes, sometimes forever. Lucas couldn't escape. There was no pause. There was no rest. He tried desperately not to think. He closed his eyes, clenched his fists, but his mind was a bottomless pit. The harder he fought against the thoughts, the more they took control of him. It was endless torture, a lost battle inside his own head. The world around him turned into a personal hell, a place where the enemy was invisible but constant. Desperate, Lucas tried to find a way out. He thought about asking for help, but the power he carried also whispered doubts. What if the help is worse than the suffering? Then, in his mind, a disturbing vision appeared. A creature with the face of a nurse, pale and cold, but with glassy, empty, soulless eyes. She laughed, a cold, cruel laugh, as if her only mission was to toy with Lucas's pain. He realized, with horror, that he couldn't trust anything anymore. Not himself, not others, not even the very desire that had condemned him. In the midst of the mental storm, a mirror appeared. Not an ordinary mirror, but a portal to the cruelest truth. He saw himself reflected, but not as he wished. His head was open, exposed, thoughts dripping, falling like pieces of rotten, putrid, uncontrollable flesh. It was the decay of his own mind, the rot of what he treasured most: his sanity, his soul, his control. He finally understood the truth the demon had whispered at the start, but he had ignored. Hell is not a physical place. It's not fire or chains. Hell is a tortured conscience that cannot be silenced, an eternal torment where every thought is a stabbing blow in the mind, the cruelest prison. Desperate, Lucas couldn't take it anymore. Every thought was torture. Every memory, a dagger to the heart. Then he screamed, not out loud, but inside his mind. I want to forget. I want to stop thinking. The curse was too cruel to allow him rest. Every mental scream echoed with terrifying force. Every plea exploded, real, physical, impossible to ignore. The world around him shook, shattered, burned, reflecting the furious storm consuming Lucas from within. The power he had so desperately desired was now becoming his ruin. In the end, Lucas understood. He never had control. The illusion of power was just that, an illusion. He wasn't the master. He was the channel, the conduit of a corrupted, unhinged, uncontrollable mind. The real terror was never what he created, but what he felt and couldn't contain. The Pact didn't give him power. It gave amplification. It turned every emotion into a weapon, every impulse into destruction. And the great truth revealed itself too late. Absolute power without emotional control is not a gift. It's an eternal sentence, a prison where the jailer is your own conscience. Some wishes aren't granted, subtly placed in your mind. waiting for the right moment to bloom. And when you finally say, I want this, somewhere on the other side, someone smiles, because that was the plan all along. What feels like your desire might just be the echo of something much older, something hungrier. So be careful what you wish for. Some desires come true far too quickly because they were being heard long before you even existed. If this story struck a chord with you, leave a like. If you enjoy stories that dive deep into the soul and into hell, subscribe and tell us in the comments, would you accept control over everything, even if it meant losing yourself?